Hello, everyone. It's Manny Benade, Principal Consultant of EJB Business Consulting. So I'm in Starbucks at Fort Bonifacio in Manila, Philippines. So I'm in the Market Mall having the Starbucks, having tea. Their coffee machines aren't working, so no hot coffee. Mind you, I'm okay with tea as well, but all their iced coffee drinks are tons of sugar. And that's one thing about Filipinos is they love their sugar. So unfortunately, because of that, diabetes is pretty rampant in a lot of Asian countries where the diet's predominantly sugar. So there's sugar in their spaghetti here. There's sugar in everything. But no, you can buy diet stuff here as well too. It's becoming very popular. Coke Zero, Coke Light. They don't call it Diet Coke here. They call it Coke Light. So I just had a business meeting or a meeting with a good friend of mine from Toronto. He's also here doing a business, so we're looking at doing some business together. So one thing about Fort Bonifacio, this area has expanded, but I love it, and I'm really thinking of getting a condo either here or in Makati in the Gaspi Village area. But the one thing about Fort Bonifacio, it's not as congested. I mean, I like Ortigas as well, but if, the friend that I just met, we're possibly looking at getting a condo in the same area. But you know, I kind of prefer Fort Bonifacio or Makati. They're close enough together where Fort Bonifacio is not as congested. But the condos here are nice. Like the properties here, fantastic. You would think you were in an upscale American city neighborhood if you're in Fort Bonifacio. The cafes, the restaurants, the malls. It's very spacious, clean. The skyscrapers, the new condos. You would never think you're in a third world country. So, I think for most Filipinos, I think, I mean, you can still classify the Philippines as a third world country, but seeing the progress I've seen over the last few years, I really don't think. I think we should get rid of that mindset because if you're always going to have that mindset you're a third world country, well, that's how you're going to remain. I think that if you have that mindset where we are not a third world country, we're progressing, like even the traffic laws here, like the taxi when I was in Iloilo, we were pulled over because I wasn't wearing my seatbelt. But you have tricycles with 10 people on it or jeepneys with 10 people on it on the roof. Well, not really the roof, but hanging on the back, which is allowed. And I got pulled over for not wearing a seatbelt. So things like that are progressing. Uh, Traffic, where they're, for the most part, abiding by the traffic lights, but also the speed limits. Or in some areas where 60 kilometers, and they're pretty strict on the speed limit. So I think when you have those things where you're progressing towards the behavior of a first world country, and seeing the wealth that has come into this country, I think we should get rid of that. That Philippines is not a third world country. It's a developing country where a lot of the middle class lifestyle that we have in Canada, to be honest with you, it's the same here. Like Starbucks. Look at all these people in Starbucks, right? So it's loud in here, but I've got my noise canceling headphone on, so it's killing a lot of the noise. You won't hear too much of it. The malls here are busy. Look, there's, I don't know if I can see it. There's white people. I like seeing white people. It makes me, although they look like vacationers. Again, I don't want to sound, it's not racist. It's just the more foreigners I see here, it's a sign that there are more companies that are sending their employees here to do some work. So again, it's a great sign that it's attracting business. Again, as I mentioned in the previous blog, because it's English speaking, the educational system is based on the American system. The language barrier is not there when it comes to North American or Canadian companies or businesses that want to do business, say in the Philippines versus other countries that don't speak English, where English is not taught or widely used. But the international language of commerce is English. So um, anyway, that's about it. Anyway, so with Fort Bonifacio, the landscape here is fantastic. So for a few of my friends back home who haven't been to the Fort Bonifacio area in 10 years, 20 years, it's not that swampy, dirty plastic river type environment that you used to know. It really is developed with high-rise condos where the setting wouldn't be out of place for, say, I don't know, Bay Street condo areas or the condo areas by the Sky Dome in Toronto or Rogers Center, whatever you want to call it. But so anyway, we have one more day here. I've got a conference, a Comworld conference at the Mall of Asia Conference Center tomorrow. I think the family will be taking, Karen will be taking the kids to the City of Dreams, and that billion-dollar resort complex that where Leonardo DiCaprio is a part investor. So we're gonna go there tomorrow. Will I go to the conference? Then we'll meet up later on either at MOA, Mall of Asia, or back at the condo in Greenbelt. We'll rest up a bit, and then we're gonna see Karen's cousin, Nedes Guerra, who's a bass guitarist for Side A Band. We're gonna see them perform tomorrow night at I forgot the name of the venue, but it's in Parañaque, so it's not too far from the airport and not too far from Makati, from where we're staying, just for one set. And then tomorrow morning we have to head to the airport, and we'll be back in Toronto Saturday night, probably about 11 o'clock at night, 11:30. So I don't know if I'll have time to do one more vlog. I'll try to do one from MOA after my conference tomorrow, and we'll see. So again, Fort Bonifacio area, fantastic. Just love it. Love it, love it, love it. So everyone who hasn't been to the Philippines in a long time, again, I urge you. Well, I should say urge you. If your view of the Philippines is negative, or it hasn't been updated in many years, then I recommend you come here to visit and see the positive changes this country is going through. It's incredible. And if you want to even do some freelancing and do some work here and go back and forth part time here, because one thing the advantage that Canadians have is our healthcare system. That's one thing you don't want to give up. So I myself will not be moving here full time because I don't want to give up my healthcare. But coming back here periodically, 3, 4, 5, 6 times a year to do some work, do some consulting is more than enough to keep myself and the kids and Karen happy as they continue on meeting with their cousins and getting to know them as they grow up. And that's my dream. So cheers, everyone. I should be looking at the camera. Not yet. So a shout out to you guys back home. I'll be back home soon, and hopefully we'll be back here in the Philippines sometime around December 26th or 27th of this year. All right, talk to you soon. Cheers.